Well, hello everyone. Today I'm doing the teaser video or the preview for the sermon on June 28th, or Sunday, June 28th, coming up. Now, those of you who've heard me preach, you kind of know I do my holiday sermons the Sunday before the holiday approaches or happens. Well, July 4th falls on a Saturday, so actually this sermon on Sunday, June 28th, is going to be my July 4th sermon, because by the time we meet the next Sunday, that would be July 5th, and July 4th will have passed. And July 4th, obviously, is a time as a country we celebrate our freedom as a country, getting away from British rule. But freedom, it's such an interesting concept, because are we truly free? We have decisions we make, so we can say we have the freedom to make choices and have options. But sometimes those options, if we make some bad choices, we lose our freedom. We could go to prison. We could, many of different things could happen to us if we use our freedom to make bad choices. We also have, we know through this pandemic that even though we live in a free country, when we had to stay in shelter or wearing masks go into buildings, you say, well, I have freedom, I can do whatever I want. But hey, if the business establishment won't allow you in without a mask, I guess you don't have complete freedom, because there are rules and regulations and things we need to follow. So do we ever have that complete freedom? Now, the passage I'm going to actually be preaching on Sunday is from Romans chapter 6, verses 15 through 18. And it basically talks a little bit about slaves to sin, and if our actions and our options and our choices when we make these decisions. The actual title of my sermon is Options, because we do have options. Every day you have the option if you're going to get out of bed or not. You have the option if you're going to eat or not. But when we think about, we go to work, and we work because we have bills to pay. And I think I would say, at least, I can't say about most people, but if I did not have to work, I wouldn't work. I mean, if I could do nothing but, play golf and hang out at the beach and do that kind of stuff, that would be more the freedom I would like to have. But, when you have bills to pay, to put food on the table, to pay mortgage, that freedom of doing nothing is really not an option. I mean, I guess I could take it. I could choose to be a hobo, or someone who just lives off the land and just walks and, rely on people to give me stuff, and or panhandle or whatever, and say I have freedom because I don't have the mortgage payments or the bills, or and some of those individuals might say they are more free than those of us who are stuck in a cubicle job, or a job where we have to work and make ends meet. But those are options. I don't think I could handle that option or choose that option. I think if I had to live that type of life, I would find a place where it's warm year round. I'm not a big fan of having to sleep on heating grates or something like that. But there are options when we talk about when we have freedom. And we can misuse those options. We can use them to do good. And we're going to see that. I'm going to do, in the sermon on Sunday, I'm going to give a little bit of background on Paul, because Romans is Paul speaking to the church in Rome. But we really need to understand freedom. Obviously, it's not free. It was paid for by the blood of many who fought for our country. And there's places in this world where people are more than happy to take away your freedom. Where you don't have the options. We have the option of freedom of religion, where we can worship and gather on Sunday mornings and not worry about persecution or being carried off to prisons. There's places in this world where you can't do that. If you claim to be a Christian and you try to meet, you will be arrested. You may be killed. In November, that's when we recognize the persecuted church. That's usually celebrated during the whole month of November, in remembering those who are basically on the front lines, using their freedom to try to preach the gospel in areas where it's not welcomed, and trying to tell people about Jesus where it's dangerous. It's risking their lives. And that's what they chose to do with their freedom. As our Church of God, we are evangelical. We feel our purpose is to tell people about Jesus. Each one of you who are listening to this teaser video, who are listening to the message on Sunday, you have the option of what you're going to do with your freedom. Are you going to use your freedom to tell people about Jesus? Are you going to use that as an opportunity to make a difference in the community? Are you going to use your freedom to try to be a change agent, to help people get along better, whatever the change that you're committing to? Too many times we use church just to fulfill our own personal needs. I need to be fed. I need to go in and worship and sing. But we don't use the freedoms that we have as followers of Jesus to share that message with others. And really, that is Jesus' last command to all his followers, to go and make disciples. When we're saying we're going to make disciples, we are putting that priority on telling other people about Jesus, and not so much the priority of our own personal feelings or worship or growth. But we do want to continually to personally grow, but the priority is to share that message with others. And those are the options that we have with freedom. And on July 4th, or the sermon on June 28th, I will be talking about freedoms, and we will be evaluating how are we using the freedoms that we have through the salvation in Jesus to help further God's kingdom. Something to ponder about and think about, and I look forward to seeing everyone on Sunday. Again, we encourage everyone to wear masks for the safety of themselves and for others. It's not mandatory, but we are encouraging, if you're going to get in conversations with people, please, have the mask with you, because it's not just about your own personal safety or comfort. It's also about the safety and comfort of others. So we look forward to seeing everyone. Have a great week. Be a shining example of Jesus to everyone you encounter. In his all-powerful and holy name, amen.